Hi, this is Irina K, and welcome back to my channel AstroBabushka. I apply ancient, more than 3,000 years old knowledge to modern time. When people come for a reading, no matter what their question is, career, love, purpose, or destiny, I always begin the same way. I open the chart and I start with profiling based on the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. These three are the foundation stones. And especially, I look at how their life began, which is shown by the nakshatra where their moon is placed. Because the sun and moon are not just planets, they are not points of light in the sky. They are your first two sort of gods. So, the moon is your mother. It shows how you were held, how you were soothed, how you were allowed to feel. It is the memory of touch, the rhythm of care, and the way you learned what home means. The moon rules the tides of your emotions, your instincts, your capacity to bond and belong. When your moon is calm and supported, you can rest in yourself. When it is wounded, the world feels unpredictable and love becomes effort. That is why the moon represents the emotional body, the emotional intelligence that starts forming from birth through the first 7 years of life. This is when the child absorbs not just the mother's action, but her tone, her breath, her unspoken moods. And that emotional landscape becomes the lens through which the person later experiences the entire world. Now, let's move to the father, the sun. It is your inner law, your sense of purpose, your right to shine. It shows how you take a stand, how you act, lead, and define what is right. A strong sun gives self-respect and clarity of direction. A weak sun hides behind others' approval or burns too hot in pride. We learn from father figures how to act in the world, how to face conflict, how to build authority. The sun represents the spiritual ego as well, not vanity, but the center of consciousness that says, I am. It is the will to express, to achieve, to bring light into matter. Together, sun and moon create the foundation of identity. One gives belonging, the other gives direction. One teaches you how to receive, the other how to give. And their relationship, whether harmonious or conflicted, tells the story of how your inner parents live within you. To understand your mother and father in life is to understand how your inner moon and sun speak to each other every day. When you choose, when you love, when you doubt, when you create. This is why, in astrology, healing never begins with transits or predictions. It begins with the two lights, the living code of your origin. So the moon is the first sky we ever know. It is close, breathing, it is immediate. It feeds, it is warm and warms us. And it is always surround us. It is the sound of pots in the kitchen, the hand that ties your shoelaces, the smell of your childhood home. It is everything that says you exist and you are safe. The sun is a different, it stands far away. It burns, but it also calls. It represents purpose, direction, and authority. Everything we must grow toward, but cannot yet touch. That is why in childhood, the image of the father is never direct. He's like the sun at noon, dazzling, unreachable, sometimes absent. We know of him through reflection. And that reflection is the moon. The mother. Astrologically, the moon shows how we receive life. The sun shows how we give it. But the first lessons about giving always come through receiving. So the way the mother speaks about the father literally shapes how the son will live inside the child. If the moon loves and respects the son, if the mother honors the father, even in his imperfection, then the child's inner son grows strong and steady. They feel allowed to shine, to act, to take space in the world. But if the moon fears or rejects the son, if the mother's words about the father are filled with pain or resentment or disappointment, then the light of the sun becomes distorted. The person may still strive and succeed, but deep inside, achievement carries guilt or the fear of becoming like him. That is why so many people carry tension between their solar and lunar sides. They love their mother, but feel unseen by their father. They shine and then they hide. They long for warmth, yet fear exposure. In the birth chart, this story is pretty much visible. When the sun and moon are in harmony by trine or sextile, there's a peace between masculine and feminine principles. The inner and outer worlds support each other. The person can act without betraying their feelings. When the sun and moon are in tension by square, opposition, or eclipse, the myth of the parents becomes the battlefield of the soul. The person lives between two scripts, the mother's emotional truth and the father's symbolical authority. And this is where the phrase, the father is made by the mother, becomes astrologically true. Because the moon, the faster body, moves around the sun, she carries his light, reflects it, translates it into human warmth. Just as in life, the mother's perception of the father gives shape to how child experiences both love and authority. Imagine a boy whose mother says with affection, "Your father works hard. He's funny. He loves you." Even if the father is often absent, the boy's inner son feels permission to shine. Now imagine another home where the mother sighs, "Your father never listens. He ruined everything." The child's sun dims. Action becomes guilt. Achievement turns to rebellion. He may spend decades proving he's not like his father, yet everything he does still circles around that same burning light. And this is not only about sons, of course. For a girl, the father's myth defines her inner masculine, what she expects from men, and how she later expresses her own creative power. If her mother paints the father in golden tones, she grows up trusting masculine energy. If her mother paints him in shadow, she grows cautious, mistrustful, even of her own drive. In Jyotish or Vedic astrology, this is mirrored perfectly. The moon shows samskara, the emotional imprint from the mother. The sun shows Atma, the inner self, the father principle that carries dharma. When the moon is strong, but the sun is weak, the person may be deeply caring yet lack direction. When the sun dominates and the moon is starved, life may look successful, but the heart feels empty. True power comes when they support each other. Warmth without arrogance and clarity without coldness. And this harmony is learned through reflection, through how the mother once held the father in her gaze. She is the first astrologer interpreting the sun to the newborn moon. So when we speak of healing the father wound, we are actually healing the lunar mirror. We are cleaning the reflection of, so the inner sun can shine without distortion. To forgive the father means to see him as the sun itself, constant, distant, imperfect, but necessary for life. To honor the mother means to thank the moon for carrying the light, even when her own sky was heavy with clouds. Because truly the father is made by the mother, not only in childhood, but in the heavens themselves. Every day the sun rises and the moon tells his story in silver. Together they weave our inner sky, teaching us how to love both warmth and shadow within our own heart. If you want to explore this deeper, I've created a free introductory course called 3 Keys to Unlock Your Full Potential. It's a few hours long, and by the end of it, you'll be able to read the essential layers of your own chart, your sun, your moon, your ascendant. There's also homework at the end, and for everyone who completes it, I personally record a 15-minute feedback video with my comments on your chart and your progress. You can join through the link in the description box below, and let's begin there by understanding your two first gods, the sun and the moon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next. Bye.